Our top story at this hour, China has yet again blocked a joint move by India and the United States to sanction a terrorist. Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist Talha Saeed was on the list this time round at the UN Security Council. This is the second time in 2 days that China has blocked a bid submitted by India and the US to designate a Pakistani terrorist as a global terrorist. It's also the fifth such episode since June this year. Now, China is a permanent member of the UN Security Council. It used a technical hold to stop the listing of Talha Saeed as a global terrorist. A technical hold can last for up to 6 months. India had designated Talha Saeed as a terrorist in April this year. He was listed as a global terrorist by the United States in August of 2012. India wants Talha Saeed to be listed under 1267, Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee of the UN Security Council. India had said he was involved in recruitment, fund collection and execution of terror attacks in India and Afghanistan. In fact, Saeed is a son of Lashkar-e-Taiba chief Hafiz Saeed. Hafiz Saeed, remember, was the mastermind of the horrific 26/11 terror attacks in Mumbai that left 166 people dead. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had told reporters last month that terrorism should not be used as a political tool. He said blocking without giving a reason was beyond logic and simply cannot be tolerated anymore. Well, as we said, this is the second time in just 2 days and for the fifth time since June this year that China has chosen to block an attempt by India and the United States to have a Pakistan-based terrorist designated as a UN global terrorist. This is an issue that has been an irritant in the India-China relationship for a very long time now. The question is, how is India going to respond to this latest provocation? For more on that, WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, joins us from New Delhi. Siddhant, as I just mentioned, this really has been an irritant in the India-China relationship for a very long time. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has repeatedly talked about this at multiple international fora, including the United Nations itself, directly accusing China of double standards on the issue of terrorism. But clearly, nothing changes. China doing it yet again. What is the response from New Delhi?
Well, this is for the fifth time that China has put a hold on the listing of a Pakistan-based terrorist, and what India and other countries along with India like the United States have been doing is to recommend name. And remember that China is the only country when it comes to the 15-member committee and the council which takes the call that has been putting a hold on. So what India has been doing is naming and shaming China, because everyone knows it's Beijing that has been putting a hold on. But why is Beijing doing that? It's purely a political call at the behest of to use the phrase best friend of China, that is Pakistan. And that is why we have seen both countries working together, just not on putting a hold when it comes to listing of terrorists, but at other fronts as well. Remember, way back in 2019, after the revocation of the special status of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, it was China at the behest of Pakistan that tried to rake up the issue of Jammu and Kashmir at the United Nations Security Council. Of course, we know that the meeting did not took place. It was a meeting under a very different format. And since then, we of course have seen Hong Kong being raised at the United Nations Security Council. But that aside, largely it is something that we have seen the camaraderie between Beijing and Islamabad at various international forums, and of course India trying to name and shame both the countries. We have seen how recently at the Security Council and at the United Nations General Assembly, the Indian side has been talking about this issue. The Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's speech at the General Assembly was a speech that that basically slammed China on several fronts, whether it is the debt crisis or whether it is the Chinese side shielding international terrorists when it comes to international forums.
Well, clearly, this is a challenge that India will have to continue to face at the United Nations, given China's recalcitrance on this entire issue and continued support to Pakistan and Pakistan-based terror organizations. Thanks very much, Siddhant, for getting us those details.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.